You know what's fascinating? The most successful, emotionally intelligent people I've ever studied all have something in common that nobody talks about. They've mastered the art of what not to share. I've spent 2 decades researching vulnerability, and here's what might surprise you: true vulnerability isn't about sharing everything. It's about being discerning with your story. Today, I'm going to share something I've never talked about publicly. The 3 things that wise people protect fiercely, even in our oversharing culture. And I promise, understanding these boundaries will transform how you show up in your relationships, your work, and your healing journey. Look at our thumbnail for a moment. See those 3 locked boxes? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what belongs in each one, why keeping them private matters, and how this practice can completely change your life. But first, let me tell you why I'm even talking about this. A few years ago, I made a terrible mistake. I was going through something really difficult, the kind of struggle that brings you to your knees. And in my pain, I shared it widely, too soon, with people who hadn't earned the right to hear my story. Y'all, it was a disaster. Feedback I got wasn't just unhelpful, it was actually harmful. Some people minimized what I was going through. Others used it as gossip. And the worst part, talking about it before I'd processed it actually deepened my wound. The data shows I'm not alone. In our research, we found that 76% of people regretted sharing personal struggles prematurely. We've become so conditioned to share everything that we've forgotten the power of sacred boundaries. Here's the thing: privacy isn't secrecy. Privacy is self-respect. Privacy is discernment. Privacy is wholehearted living. Many of you have told me you struggle with knowing what to share, when to share it, and with whom. Today, we're going to solve that problem together by exploring the 3 things smart people keep private, not out of shame, but out of wisdom. The first thing wise people keep private is their deepest struggles while they're still healing. When we're in pain, we naturally reach out. We want support, understanding, validation. But there's a crucial difference between seeking genuine help and exposing our wounds to the wrong audience. Think about it like this: if you had a physical wound, you wouldn't rip off the bandage and show everyone before it had a chance to heal. You'd protect it, clean it properly, maybe show it to a doctor or nurse who knows how to help. Our emotional wounds deserve the same care. When we share too soon, we risk 3 things. First, unsolicited opinions. Not everyone knows how to support us. Some people will minimize our pain, offer unhelpful advice, or even use our vulnerability against us. Second, emotional exploitation. There are people who thrive on drama. Sharing your pain with the wrong people can turn your real struggle into entertainment for someone else. And third, and this is the one that really matters, talking about your pain over and over again, especially with those who don't provide real solutions, can actually keep you stuck in it rather than help you move forward. What would happen if, instead of broadcasting your struggles, you processed them in safe, controlled environments? With a therapist, a trusted friend, or in what I call your marble jar relationships, the people who have earned your trust drop by drop. If you're going through something difficult right now, I want you to ask yourself, who has earned the right to hear my story? Because not everyone deserves access to your pain. But wait, before we move on to the second secret, I want to hear from you. Have you ever shared something too soon and regretted it? Or have you kept something private and found healing in that boundary? Drop your experience in the comments below. I read them all, and your wisdom helps our whole community grow. The second thing wise people keep private is their biggest goals until they're achieved. Now, this one might shock you. Most of us believe that sharing our goals helps us stay accountable. After all, if you announce your ambitions, won't you feel more pressure to follow through? Surprisingly, the research suggests otherwise. In a fascinating study at NYU, researchers found that talking about your goals gives you a premature sense of accomplishment, which can actually decrease your motivation. When we receive external praise for simply declaring a goal, our brains can trick us into feeling like we've already achieved something. I remember when I was working on my first book. For months, I told nobody except my husband and my editor. Not because I was ashamed, but because I was rumbling with vulnerability. I knew that if I announced it too soon, I'd face 3 risks. 1. External doubts create internal doubts. Not everyone will support your vision. Some people will project their own fears onto you, and their skepticism can shake your belief in yourself. 2. Loss of momentum. Talking about an idea can sometimes feel like doing the work when in reality it's just talk. The more you discuss it, the less urgent it feels to actually make progress. And 3. Unnecessary pressure. If you tell too many people about your plans, you might start making decisions based on how they perceive your success rather than what's truly best for you. Think of your goal like a seedling. It needs to be nurtured and protected from harsh conditions. Only when it's strong enough can it withstand the winds of the outside world. What goal are you working on right now that might benefit from a little privacy? What dream are you nurturing that doesn't need to be on display for everyone to see or judge? I'll tell you what happened with my book in a minute, but first, let's talk about the third, and perhaps most important thing that wise people keep private. The third thing wise people keep private is their intimate relationships. In an era of constant sharing, it's easy to feel like we need to put everything on display: our relationships, family dynamics, personal milestones. But there's profound wisdom in keeping certain aspects of your relationship sacred. Let me be clear, this isn't about hiding or being ashamed. It's about honoring what matters most to you by protecting it from unnecessary exposure. The data shows that relationships that are constantly displayed for public consumption face unique challenges. When we invite everyone into our most intimate connections, we risk three things. First, unwanted interference. When too many people know about your personal life, they start feeling entitled to give opinions even when they're not needed. Second, increased vulnerability. Relationships thrive in intimacy and trust, not in public validation. The more people know, the more they feel like they have a say. And third, and this is what I see happening so often in our research, we start performing our relationships instead of actually living them. We curate moments for likes and comments rather than for genuine connection. You know, some of the strongest relationships I've ever witnessed are the ones that aren't constantly showcased. They're quietly nurtured behind the scenes. They don't need external validation because they have internal certainty. What parts of your relationships might benefit from more privacy? What sacred moments are you sharing that perhaps should be protected? If this conversation about boundaries and privacy is resonating with you, hit that subscribe button right now. We're building a community of wholehearted people who are committed to living with courage, compassion, and connection, and I'd love for you to be part of it. Now, about that book I mentioned earlier. When I finally did share it with the world, it was from a place of completion, not seeking approval, and that made all the difference. The work was already done, my confidence was already built, and no one's opinion could shake the foundation I'd created in private. So let's recap the three things wise people keep private. 1. Your deepest struggles while you're still healing. Process your pain in safe spaces first. 2. Your biggest goals until they're achieved. Work in silence and let the results speak for themselves. 3. Your intimate relationships. Protect them from unnecessary exposure and performative sharing. Here's my challenge to you this week. Choose one area of your life that you've been oversharing and create a boundary around it. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom and self-respect. Maybe it's a struggle you're going through. Maybe it's a goal you're working toward. Maybe it's a relationship you cherish. Whatever it is, try protecting it from the noise of public opinion for just 1 week and notice how it feels. Next week, I'll be sharing the courage to set boundaries, when to say yes, when to say no, and why it matters, where we'll dive into the practical tools for setting these privacy boundaries without guilt. You won't want to miss it. Remember, privacy isn't about hiding. It's about creating sacred space for the things that matter most. It's about understanding that not everything needs an audience. Some of the most powerful moments in life happen in the quiet space where you're free to heal, build, and love without interference. That's the true power of privacy. That's wholehearted living. Thank you for showing up today. I'll see you next time.